I love to hold on to things that were milestones in my life. And so that's memorabilia, whatever. But this folder here, and when I look at the printing that says, the letter. When I wrote that, I did not know what this was going to mean. I did know that it was something that was going to be so important. I received a letter that was addressed to the leadership board here at First Baptist. I had only been here for a couple years. And it said some of the meanest, cruelest, heartbreaking things about me. I was nothing but a performer. This worship was a vehicle for me to do a Hollywood performance. And I was completely devastated. I wanted to quit everything. I wanted to quit every ministry I was in. I wanted to quit talking to people, which I did. I'm ashamed of that because I should have been more open, but this is where I went. But about 2 weeks in, a lady from our church, her name is Angie, rang my doorbell at 8 in the morning. I remember it was like a Tuesday. And there she was, and she was standing there with this basket that had these warm muffins in and water and fruit. And she said the Lord had woken her up the night before at 3 in the morning, gave her the scripture from 1 Kings about God's gentle whisper. She said she felt the need to just come, knock on the door, and present this to me. I was still frozen with hurt, and I took it and I thanked her. And then I brought it into the house, and I looked up the scripture from 1 Kings, and I started to read, and nothing was making sense. Nothing was making me feel anything. But I was so determined to deal with this hurt and this devastation that I kept studying. I studied the life of Elijah. And I realized that this prophet was a messenger of truth, hope, and life, and that he was criticized. He even had death threats. I haven't had those yet. But he had a death threat, and he went running into the wilderness. He escaped. He was so discouraged. And one morning, the Lord sent an angel to wake him up and to remind him to eat, and had warm bread and water for him. And so all of this started to just make so much sense, that God was speaking to me still through Angie. And I studied his word. Like, I just couldn't get enough of it. I remember sitting in my living room and just trying so desperately for it to make sense to me. And over time, it did. I had forgiven this woman who had written this letter, and I started writing her a letter. And it was a letter thanking her for what she had done, because in the midst of all of this, I had asked God to completely empty me of myself and fill me with this fresh faith and fresh fire that would keep me, if he wanted me in ministry still, that he would give me the strength to do it. And I wrote this 2-page letter thanking this woman and taking her on a journey that I went on with this whole thing. And she ended up writing me back and apologizing, which was wonderful. I had already forgiven her deep in my heart because I knew that the Lord had a reason for all of this happening. And so, as Elijah did, he heard God in this gentle whisper, and he went back out and fulfilled his calling and was still a messenger of truth and hope and life. And, and so I'm still here.